Taking Stock, brought to you by justdial.com.
This is TV18 and you're watching CNBC TV18.
Hello and welcome to Plan F, your financial fitness plan presented by DSP BlackRock Mutual Fund and CNBC TV18. This investor education initiative by DSP BlackRock Mutual Fund will empower you to invest better and smarter and make the right financial decisions. Today, we bring you the story of Ramesh Jalan, a businessman from Kolkata.
I am Ramesh Jalan, 64 years old. By education, I am a mechanical engineer. By profession, I am a survey and loss assessor, an auxiliary service for general insurance companies.
Father of two, Ramesh Kumar Jalan lives with his family in Kolkata. With his older son married and settled and his younger daughter set to be married in a few months, Jalan says his personal commitments are coming to an end. But life hasn't been so smooth.
When I started earning in 1980, the only thing I knew about finances was saving for a rainy day. I hardly knew anything about investments. Being a part of a business family, the only investment I knew about was investing in a business or possibly giving a loan to someone else.
Having grown up in a Marwadi business family, Jalan sought the systematic route to investment very late in life. And though he is comfortably invested today with a diverse portfolio, his biggest problem has always been not knowing when to exit an investment at the right moment.
I lost money at various stages of life. I made money also, but fortunately I've been able to save enough to take care of my financial commitments in this part of my life. I must tell everyone, learn how to invest, learn how to enter and exit, and learn how to book profit.
Well, in a few moments from now, our experts will dissect Mr. Jalan's investment portfolio and take him through his rights and wrongs. But before that, let's go across to Cyrus Brocha, who's going to help us understand Mr. Jalan and his story just that little bit better.
Thank you, Sumera. And now let's meet Mr. Ramesh Jalan and Mr. Ram Jalan in what I call my Poochtaj equipment because I do torture out here. I actually get people here to confess. I have called all kinds of people, big celebrities. I won't mention names, but John Abraham and people like that have come here and confessed to their financial discretions, things they have done which they're not proud of. You know, like breaking mutual funds too early, things like that. I don't want to brag, I don't want to choke. It's not my show, it's more about you, the investors. So we'll start, sir, with you a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How do you describe yourself, Mr. Jalan?
Fun-loving, carefree.
Carefree. Study the markets properly though?
No, I don't.
So leave it to chance?
Chance or possibly good luck or possibly okay. Try to do something about it. Think about it later.
Happy-go-lucky.
Happy-go-lucky, right.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, sir.
As Dad said, that he leaves it to chance. I hope he leaves it on me for his plannings.
Oh, but I'll just ask you a couple of questions because I like to find out more about the people by just, looking into their answers. It's a psychological thing because I'm a psychologist of sorts. I have studied under Dr. Adler. Dallas Adler, not the famous Dr. Adler, Dallas Adler in Kushrubag, Kolaba. Very nice guy. Okay, let's now talk a little bit about finance because I went through the portfolio there. You were very candid and open and you speak about mistakes and things like that. But the first thing is, coming from a Marwadi family, traditionally known for their business acumen and all that, you were not inclined to put money into the family business, is it?
Well, that was the period and gradually the Marwadi family children which started getting diverted, You go for education, higher education and all that, you have your own dreams and thoughts. That was the period. Went to the engineering college, had a different outlook altogether. Basically wanted to be in self-employed profession kind of a thing.
But you were not worried that you'd break away from family and things like that?
No.
How you'd manage first generation engineering degree. What is an engineering degree today? Let's tell the viewer the honest truth. It's nothing. You can't get a job. I myself am an electrical engineer and I've got nothing, no work, nothing.
Unless you go to IIM after that.
Yeah, but that's too much. Then you have to be really smart. Okay. Did you then in those days, and what are we looking at, 70s here? 70s, 80s?
70s.
Were you thinking about your financial future, about investing?
Not at all.
So what was available then?
Thought of investing at that point of time was virtually nothing. Nil, zero. I joined a company. It was ICI at that time. ICI India Limited. I joined that company. Happy-go-lucky. It was a faraway place in Bihar at that time.
We are.
Yeah.
Where Mr. Lalu Prasad Yadav will now spend 5 glorious years in one
very
room.
Close to Ranchi, in fact.
It was?
Not very far from Ranchi.
Were you involved in any fodder scam yourself?
No, I was not.
But did you smell fodder from time to time?
No, I was more involved in explosives, in fact.
So now, you then suddenly discovered what? Mutual funds? What was the first thing you discovered?
Equity.
Equity.
Start with the equity only.
And
with IPOs possibly at that point of time.
And did the IPOs, did you get anything out of it? What was this market like then?
Limited, yes. In fact, IPOs at that time were much more attractive propositions for investment because the IPO price was restricted, controlled kind of a price.
Okay,
and then the thing was listed. You had a big jump.
So very interesting. So you did that, and then move on. Take us through the next step, because you always keep saying that if there's one mistake you've made, is that you've not timed your disinvestment at the right time, or time to pull out at the right time.
I think lethargy was more dominant kind of a trait.
So once it happened, you left.
Yeah, you invested in something and you forgot about it.
You never studied the market to see up, down, Sensex movements, nothing?
Or even if at all I studied or got the information somewhere, did not take a decision.
Those were the days of the glorious midday mate, I remember. There are pictures of these pretty girls on page 3 and all that. That could distract people. Then you wouldn't go to page 5, which was the financial section.
You stay there itself.
Yes, there you go. Yeah. So let's now talk about this young man for a second. You have also done your own thing.
That's right.
You're an MBA.
That's right.
And so you don't want to help your dad?
I wanted to, he did not want my help.
He didn't want to feed one extra mouth, is it?
Yeah, I know.
So you decided to do your MBA?
I did my MBA and then also decided to manage my own investments.
What mistakes do you think your dad, okay, mistake is not the right word. In hindsight, what could he have done, which he didn't do?
Keep more track of the market and flip the investments as much as possible.
So he was not flexible, basically, is what you're saying?
Yes.
He stayed with whatever. Like he says, he wasn't really interested. He put it in, shut the bank, and, you know, whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
This is how I get through my marriage, by the way.
What's the connection?
I don't want to take it any further. Okay. There will be no marriage. We'll leave it right there. So coming back, so then what has changed now in the last few years? Has that become sharper when it comes to investments?
Yes. I mean, I would say as he accepted, the lethargy has gone away. He has become more active, studying the market more, and also balancing well between aggression and prudence.
And are the results there as well? Have you made a little bit?
Yes. I mean, in tough times, as we are seeing, we have been stable. So the credit goes to his prudence. All
right. Thank you so much. It's very interesting what you've taught us so far. I'll end with this very important question. If you had a choice of getting married again, Ramesh, and your choices were Aishwarya Rai, Urmila Matondkar, and Kimi Katkar, who would you choose and why? Why is your dad laughing? You can't.
I'm waiting for his answer.
This is not an IPO.
Aishwarya.
Oh, sweet. We're enjoying ourselves too much here while the markets are dipping left, right, and center, especially in Bangladesh, where we have no investments at the moment. Okay. We'll take a break, and when we come back, experts will guide them. And by experts, I mean Shrikant and Arun Lal, who opened for India. No, actually, we do have experts, so stay where you are. Take a break, and then we'll come back. Can you lend me 10 rupees, Baba? I told you I grew up with Marwaris. I'm still trying.
Each one of us uses our phone differently. That's why My Plan. The first ever postpaid plan that's created by me, for me.
Is not for everyone. MRF wins the JD Power Award for customer satisfaction for the 10th time. MRF, India's preferred tyre brand.
67 years ago, a son of the soil united the entire country. And today, farmers of the entire country will unite for him. 67 years ago, an iron man invigorated India. And today, the entire country will aggregate iron for him to build the world's tallest statue, the Statue of Unity, for which the farmers from across lakhs of villages of the country will donate their agricultural tools made of iron. The foundation stone of this monument will be laid by the Honorable Chief Minister of Gujarat, Shri Narendra Modi, on 31st October 2013, the birth anniversary of Sardar Patel.
सरदार साहब का एक विश्व का सबसे बड़ा ऊंचा स्मारक बने और इस स्मारक को बनाने में आप भी हिस्सा लें।
Sardar united the country and we will glorify it. Ek Bharat, Shresht Bharat.
CNBC TV18 and Hindustan Unilever present Lessons in Marketing Excellence Season 5, coming soon.
Presented by Hindustan Unilever Limited. Lifestyle partner Raymond. Powered by Lenovo for those who do. Associate sponsor Frederic Constance Geneve.
Welcome back to Plan F, your financial fitness plan presented by DSP BlackRock Mutual Fund and CNBC TV18. This investor education initiative by DSP BlackRock Mutual Fund will help empower people to invest better. Today, we're joined in our studio by Sumit Vaid, MD, Freedom Wealth Solutions, and Vijay Bhushan, partner at Bharat Bhushan and Company, to understand and analyze Mr. Jalan's portfolio, who's finished speaking with Cyrus and is now with us in the studio. So, hi, thanks very much for joining us. I want to start by asking you, you've gone through Mr. Jalan's portfolio extensively. So, what was it that struck you, Vijay? What was the one thing that you thought was fantastic, and what was the one thing that could have been done better?
Well, I think what was really fantastic was, the control in terms of household expenses is only about 18%, which I thought was very remarkable, and therefore there is the potential to save and invest was very large. So I think that was something that was remarkable. Of course, I did feel that over a period of time he had been trying various avenues, and therefore in that it has been more of an experimentation, and as a consequence thereof, perhaps it has not resulted in those kind of optimum optimum kind of corpus that could have been built.
It's not as sophisticated a plan as an advisor would perhaps advise. But Sumit, what about you? What struck you the most?
What struck me was commonality, the way we continue to see in India when we see investor behavior. So one good thing was he's a great saver. That means he's got income, he's got expenses, he's kept his expenses less than income, so there is a surplus every month. Great saver. But what comes across is he's not a great investor. What he has done is he's kept saving money and has been very sporadic and very erratic with products which he chooses, because there's no goals. It is a portfolio, it doesn't have a direction. So it's very typical of India. India is a great saving country. We are pathetic investing country.
And someone said once that wealth cannot be earned, it must be saved. But I guess in times of high inflation like this, it's not just what is saved, but also how it is invested. Sumit, I want to ask you, you mentioned that there were a lack of goals in the portfolio, and which is why there was no sort of a specific direction to the portfolio. How much does that worry you, and how can Mr. Jalan now improve on it?
What goals do is they give direction to your portfolio. For example, a typical family needs to think about emergencies, plan for it, needs to think about risk of that particular family, plan for it, and then articulate various goals. The goals could be education, marriage, retirement, blah blah. But those are the important things within which financial products should fit in.
But do you think, Vijay, that there's a marked difference between investing sporadically like we've been talking and investing with a clear goal? So how can Mr. Jalan now change the things in his portfolio to include goals, and thereby what are the changes that you would suggest for him?
No, basically I think in his entire portfolio there are certain things which he's done and which I think he should continue. For example, the investment that he's made in house property. Then some of the things like life insurance, his health insurance, the ULIP, the investment into gold and silver.
At some point there's too much emphasis on insurance. Perhaps he could have taken a term plan, used that money elsewhere?
Well, I think his insurance is not very high. I just looked at it, his total, if you put all these three together, ULIP insurance as well as the health insurance and life insurance, it works out to about 5,000 rupees a month. What I think is really you've got to make out a plan. Of course, he has told us that there is the marriage of his daughter which is coming up, and a certain corpus needs to be set aside. So that is the other thing. As Sumit has been saying, it becomes an immediate goal.
Yeah.
And so say about 15 lakhs is to be earmarked towards that. So I think once you do that, then what you're left with is what you can really, you have the option to invest. Basically, once you make out a plan, and that plan in any case has to be reviewed. The immediate goal is there, and I think the next goal, from what I can see, would be a comfortable retirement.
Yeah, that's true. I'm going to get to retirement in a bit, but Mr. Jalan, you had a question also that was worrying you about investments. Go ahead.
Yeah, the main thing is it's easy to invest, but it's difficult to decide whether to remain there or to come out of it or deploy the money somewhere else.
We were going through your risk profiling and it came across that you're very comfortable with taking high risk, and that's evident because there's a lot of equity in your portfolio. You've gone into direct stocks, you've gone into equity mutual funds and all, but most of the time when you've gone into this, there is no goal attached, which is not able to tell you when to exit. So you are basically getting into this to get the highest return possible, not even high, the highest return. And the highest return is some kind of a utopian concept which doesn't exist. Right. You know, it's your greed talking, and when greed talks, you really keep waiting for the real return to happen. So the best way to decide about exiting is link your goals, and as your goals come nearby, move on from riskier asset into risk-free kind of an asset and exit. So that'll be our strategy. Goals are the real things out here.
Deciding factor.
Yes.
And the key over here, because of what he said, is that you'll have to constantly review your portfolio to know how and when to keep changing your allocations. And Vijay, that's the point I want to talk to you about, because you mentioned reviewing your portfolio also. How can he ensure long-term sustainability of his plan once he leaves the studio?
I feel that this should be left to experts, which means, you know, in his case, he should, when he invests in an equity mutual fund, let the fund manager decide, because, you know, that is what he's being paid for. This is something he's doing, you know, on a full-time basis. And, you know, when you're working yourself, it's not possible for you to really concentrate on the market. So I think from direct investing, he has to move into investing in equity via the mutual fund route.
Yeah, you know, if you're sick, you'd go to a doctor. So if your financial plan needs attention, you'd need to go to an expert too.
That's kind of a passive investing you're talking about, in fact.
Well, I know it's not that exciting because somebody else is taking the decision. So.
Is there anything that can be simplified in the plan so that it's better or easier for him to manage?
We've been talking about active and passive investment. So in this case of Jalan Saab, when we say active investment, both me and Vijay ji are clearly articulating that buying stocks themselves. So what we are suggesting is for somebody like Jalan Saab, though there is a lot of kick in buying stocks because it gives you a high, but usually we have seen that doesn't really work over a long period of time. So what we are advising is choose mutual funds. You know, mutual funds is a route where there's an expert fund manager which helps you choose stocks, and you then choose good fund managers. And within mutual funds, instead of taking a lump sum investment, either take a systematic transfer plan whereby you invest some money in liquid fund, from there it goes on a continuous basis at a regular interval into equity, or have a systematic investment plan.
Yeah, but how do you decide which fund, just to wrap up this discussion, you know, for someone like him, perhaps just go with an index fund or, go for an actively managed fund? What would you suggest?
See, I would just suggest that first you just make out an allocation in terms of debt and equity. And I thought in his case, a 40% equity and a 60% debt would at the moment be an ideal solution. And to add what Sumit said, out of that debt portion, there could be an SIP, which could be roughly about 10% of the money could be in a liquid fund, from where, you know, an STP, which is a systematic transfer plan, puts say about 20,000 rupees a month in two separate plans in that. So I think basically with that, and after a year he'd have, it's always good to review how your the portfolio is done. Even among equity funds, I would say about 80% into those funds which go in for large cap, and 20% into mid cap and small cap. On the debt side, I think the other important thing is we have actually, apart from liquid funds, an option in debt either to go in for short term funds, which normally you have about 3 to 6 months, the lock-in is 3 to 6 months, and then you go in for either a dynamic bond fund where the fund manager changes the duration and takes a duration call himself, or you go in for income funds, which normally invest in long dated securities. So I think a mix in that will really help.
All right, thanks so much for that. There's a lot of learning and a lot of takeaways from this. But what we'll do now is take a quick break, come back in a bit. On the other side of the break, we have a report card from Mr. Jalan, so do stay tuned for that.
पीसी ज्वेलर के फेस्टिव ऑफर में आप पा सकते हैं 36 स्कोडा कार्स, 30,000 की डायमंड ज्वेलरी की हर खरीद पर 1 ग्राम गोल्ड कॉइन फ्री और 60,000 की गोल्ड ज्वेलरी की हर खरीद पर हाफ ग्राम गोल्ड कॉइन फ्री। साथ ही लाखों की डायमंड ज्वेलरी और सिल्वर कॉइन्स। पीसी ज्वेलर, ज्वेलर फॉर जनरेशंस।
We have used up much of natural capital and have nearly injured the ecosystem that sustains life on our planet.
Company must be a part of society, not a part from society.
Catch experts discuss solutions for a sustainable future at the 8th Sustainability Solutions Summit presented by CII ITC Centre of Excellence for Sustainable Development. At these times only on CNBC TV18.
It's a packed show on Storyboard this week. Publicis India acquires Beehive Communications. Find out why Star India is betting big on football. And what Hugh Jackman is doing for Micromax. All this and more on Storyboard at these times.
Storyboard brought to you by Raindrops Basmati Rice and Panasonic.
बच्चों के बढ़ते कदम वक्त की तरह होते हैं। जितना भी पीछे दौड़ लो, आगे ही चले जाते हैं। क्लब महिंद्रा ने दिए मेरी फैमिली को वो मैजिकल मोमेंट्स, जिससे वक्त थोड़ी देर के लिए थम गया। तो क्या आप नहीं रोकेंगे वक्त को? क्लब महिंद्रा, मेक एवरी मोमेंट मैजिकल।
People are coming for the wedding.
Then let's order food for 700 people.
I see a dosh in the girl's horoscope.
What kind of dosh?
Anna dosh.
What do you mean?
A lot of food will be wasted in the girl's wedding, which will anger the god of food. There's a way out. Order food for the wedding guests according to the need only. And the excess food should be given to poor people.
Everyone has a right to the food that grows on earth.
Don't let it go waste.
Don't take away another person's right.
Wake up, consumer, wake up.
Welcome back. You're watching Plan F, your financial fitness plan presented by DSP BlackRock Mutual Fund and CNBC TV18, an investor education initiative by DSP BlackRock Mutual Fund. It's now time to rate Mr. Jalan's portfolio on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being superlative performance and 1 being red alert, must seek help immediately. So what about our experts then? How would you rate Mr. Jalan's portfolio? So do we have a decision then? What's the verdict on Mr. Jalan's portfolio? What about you?
I would rate it as 6.
And Sumit, what about you?
I'll be slightly harsh on Jalan Saab, so I'll rate it 2.
Alright, so what's the reasoning behind such a harsh verdict?
It's a very typical Indian situation, and I'm again and again highlighting also for the viewers who are watching us, you know, goals to me are the real heroes. Without goals, I don't think so your portfolio can deserve anything more than 2. So that's why it's 2.
So, Mr. Jalan, Sumit really wants you to now transform from being just a saver into being an active and a better investor, more sophisticated investor, so to speak. But what about you, Vijay? You've been a little more liberal with Mr. Jalan?
No, I thought one should consider, you know, what Sumit is talking. A lot of options are available today. Maybe when the time he started saving, those options weren't there. Number one. Number two, if you look at his investment, he has put in a, you know, made that investment in house property, which I think was essential, and you know, would also give him an option with a reverse mortgage possibility today to earn a regular income in subsequent years. So I think that's been a good decision, and it's a fairly large part of his portfolio, more than a 50% portfolio, and he has gone in for health insurance as well as you know, term insurance. So I think on that basis I thought that that was correct. Plus he has also gone in for mutual funds. Now obviously the selection of mutual funds, I note in that some of the funds are good, and of course some of them can now be reviewed. So I think that review is necessary. So I thought he did deserve 6 out of 10.
So the question I had in mind was, if you could visualize a situation which was there in the 80s,
yep,
would you rate the same my portfolio as number 2 only?
Because I'm on TV right now,
yeah,
and I need to give this message to you, as well as to the viewers, I'll still stick to 2, because what I'm trying to articulate, sir, is life is all about making choices. Whether it was 80s, whether it's 2000, whether it's going to be in future itself. And choices helps you to really go and put timelines into your situations, or articulate what you want by when. I'm deliberately harsh, because so that all of us who are watching us might get some lessons out of it. Yeah. Sorry for that, but I still stick to 2.
No, there are no hard feelings. There are only lessons and takeaways from this. So there are 3 important things actually that I think we've learned today. One is that investments actually need to be linked to goals to provide direction to your portfolio and also ensure optimal returns. Second is that there should be proper asset allocation in relation to the risk profile that you currently have. And as things change over the course of time, perhaps you should review also your asset allocation, which is the third point, that review must be done very regularly, whether you choose to do it annually, quarterly. That's your call, but it must be done on an ongoing basis. Here's where we need to thank you, Sumit and Vijay. Thanks so much for joining us on the show today. And Mr. Jalan, thank you so much. It was a pleasure meeting you and a pleasure talking to you. But let's also now go across to Nandish Desai, founder of Jago Investor, for some essential financial guidelines in our Tip of the Week segment.
There are 3 key insights that I would like to share from Mr. Jalan's case study. Number 1, there has been lack of professional advice. If you look at his financial life, 30 years journey, there has been no professional advice. So he has taken a lot of random actions in his financial life, and because of that, it has impacted his overall wealth. So there are a lot of investors, they think they know what to do with their money, but with an external agreement, with a professional advice, they can really take their financial life to the next level. The second key insight is he has been a collector and not an investor. This is something that every investor needs to learn. You are either a collector or an investor. By collector, what I mean is you are collecting a lot of financial products in your financial life, and it really damages your overall portfolio. So you need to be really focused and only take those financial products which suits you as an investor. And the third most important insight for Mr. Jalan is now he needs to focus 100% on his retirement. Looking at his age where he is right now, he has next 10 years to save and secure his retirement, and he needs to be focused.
Well, with that, it's a wrap on Plan F, your financial fitness plan. To find out more about why you need a Plan F and how you can get started, do visit dspblackrock.com/Plan F. We'll be back next week with the story of 25-year-old market analyst turned homemaker Shri Kumari Dholakia. So that's going to be interesting. But for now, from the entire team here, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next weekend.